This is Kathy from Gadget Stop 321, and Hobonichi season is upon us once again, and I've been shopping and picking out which Hobonichi Techo I'm going to purchase to continue using as an ink journal. I'm currently using a Hobonichi Weeks Mega from 2019, and I would love to be able to continue using the Hobonichi Weeks, but there are a few things that make it not ideal for me to use as an ink journal. First of all, I love the exterior of it. I love the shape. I love the covers you can get, the cloth covered semi-flexible covers. I love all the options you have, the colors and designs, but the main thing that makes it not ideal for me is the pages are just a little too narrow. I always feel like I'm a little cramped when I'm doing my writing samples, and so I really prefer the dimensions of the Techo. Another thing that the Techo has going for it is that the Weeks has a creamy colored paper, and the Techo has white paper, and that makes it better for doing ink samples on ink tests. I like that the Techo has daily pages instead of each page being an entire week, because that allows me to use the dates as page numbers, and then the monthly calendars in the front you can use as an index. Now, I've only recently, like this week, I started making an index in the monthly pages. Anytime I want to go back and refer to an ink sample, like if I want to add a new pen to it, or just refer to it if I'm trying to choose an ink to use in a certain pen, a lot of times I have to look through all three books one page at a time, which is ridiculous. And I finally got the idea from watching others on Instagram and YouTube that I could use the monthly calendar as my index, and then I just have a few pages that I have to flip through looking for an ink instead of an entire planner. The weeks, you can do a similar system. What I'm doing is Sailor Manyo Haha is on the week of November the 25th through December the 1st. And it actually works out nicely because you have a whole week to do an ink swatch on instead of just one little box. Now, the boxes of the Techos are a little bit bigger than the boxes in the week, so it's good that you have a whole row of boxes. The downside is when you get to the note pages in the back that don't have dates on them, what are you going to use for your index? What I'm planning on doing for these writing samples that I've already done is I'm going to go to the very back and start an index, working my way forward in the index. So what I'll do, for example, for Roaring Klinger Verdigris, I will do this little scribble, name of the ink, and a swatch over here. The scribble, name of the ink, and a swatch. Plus I'll put the page number, so I'll know what page to refer back to if I want to add some more writing samples. And I'll just do that, my index working back and my writing samples working forward until they meet. And as I was thinking that, I realized I could do the same thing in a Leuchtturm. I do my little writing samples in the back. I could just put a page number out beside it and have that refer to the writing sample. If I did that, I probably wouldn't stack multiple writing samples per page. I would probably just do one ink per page, leave it open like I did in my Hobonichis, so that I could go back and add pens to it, or add notes to it, thoughts about the inks that I'm using. And I really thought about, well, I could skip the Hobonichi and just do my ink journal in a Leuchtturm. I love the way inks behave in the Leuchtturm. You get the sheen, though not as much sheen as you do in the Hobonichi. But Leuchtturm, again, has an off-white paper. So I think I am going to order a Hobonichi Techo, the A6 size. I really regretted not getting one last year, so I'm going to get one this year with a cover. And then when it comes in, I'll go ahead and move into it. I'll probably still continue to use my Weeks for my currently inked writing samples. Maybe I'll use it for those, because I still have quite a bit of note paper left in the back. The Mega really had a lot of paper. But before I end this, I'm going to go ahead and do, actually it's in this one. Let's see. I've got some pages where I'm comparing teal inks, like on 629. So on 629, I could just make a note there comparing teal inks. So, and I have some pages that are personal journaling. I can make a note, personal journaling, on those pages. But I'm needing to do a swatch for Tsukiyo. Yeah, Tsukiyo on 627. And I don't get very much ink. I don't dip it very deeply because these are tiny little grids and it does not take much ink at all. I draw a line up at the top. It gets a little bit of excess ink off of the glass nib, and it lets me see how quickly it's coming off the nib. And I have had some ink names that were a little longer and ran over into the next box. And that's okay, because when I'm doing my writing samples, I don't write on the back of the page. Then I do a little scribble. And then I've got a little jar of water at my desk. I just rinse off the nib. I'll leave it sitting in there for a little bit while I do my swatch. And this is a tiny little swatch, so I just barely dip the tweezers. This is a wet, flowy ink. And I don't even have to rinse the tweezers off usually. I just wipe them off. I have a stack of these at my desk. I guess while that dries, I'm needing to throw these away. They're pretty much saturated with ink. Here's the latest one I've been using. This is Emerald of Chivor up here. You can see the gold shimmer. And this one's Rose Gold Antiqua. It's got some gold shimmer in it. That might be Solferino right there. This one doesn't have as much. I won't throw it away yet. It's always cool whenever I'm drying off my glass dip pen and it gets some of the ink splotches wet. Some of my earlier ones aren't as saturated with ink. That's Vert Atlantide. This might be some Noodler's inks. There's a lot of black and blue on there. And that might be Lamy Mango. This one looks like art. This might be the, oh, I don't know. I was going to say when I was doing the Manyo. I'm not sure. These are nice. I think this one's Kuzu and this one's Akebi. I think this was my first batch of ink samples that I ordered back at the beginning of 2020. Wow. It may not be dry yet. I'll just have to leave this open on my desk for a little while. It's still a little bit wet. But that's how I'm using my Hobonichi as an ink journal, and I'm looking forward to getting back into the A6 size. If you found this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel.